Hi, this is Sheila Corona with Conscious Conversation Central, and we actually are having a third conversation this evening. It is still Tuesday. Yes, I had to check the time as we are on the East Coast, and it is getting late. But it is still April the 10th, 2018, and I am with my posse again, BZ Rieger and Lisa Flamino Rush, and we just finished the video, that the conversation in regards to transparency. And BZ, you were getting ready to bring up something that we decided is an entirely separate conversation. So I'd like for you to start, if you don't mind.
Well, actually, I'm going to ask Lisa to just get us rolling with what the last thing you said, and you just reminded us now.
Okay. Well, we were talking about this transparency is coming as in reference to the changes that are happening, which is a river of love is coming for us. So to me, there's nothing to fear in all of that. That's anything that a river of love is bringing to me is all good.
Right. And then I think what got me off on that is you said, well, absolutely. It's not only coming, it's already here.
Yes.
And there's some eddies that people may be, in the river. But you had said it's not, something like it's not hard, or...
Yeah, well, it's nothing to fear. It isn't going to be anything that's bad for you, or, maybe uncomfortable at first if it's something new to you.
Right.
But not bad in any way. Nothing to be feared for certain.
Right. Okay. So that was my jumping off point. So
yes,
absolutely. From one perspective.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Seatbelts on.
And that would be from a much broader perspective. Absolutely. So let me see if I can paint a good word picture. So each being is where each being on this planet is where they are in their frequency, how they've been. Are they service to self, service to others? What's the energetic vibration that's the predominant place where they reside? The focus of the streams of thought. So all the things we've talked about.
Yes.
So now we're not only, we're past dipping our toe in the river of love. We're
okay.
We're whitewater rafting down the river of love.
Yeah, when she said that, and you said what you said, I'm sorry, but I saw people white knuckling the side. I'm sorry, that's exactly what I saw, was a lot of folks white knuckling the side going,
Right. So again, this is I feel that if we employ just a little bit here, it really helps to change the compunction to white knuckle it. Because in the compunction to white knuckle, you get a lot of muscle strain, broken fingers, rocks hit you upside the head. You go down in a big eddy that happens to take several feet down the road. The whole lot of metaphors that go with that. So remember that out there does not happen first.
Okay.
Okay.
That's right.
In here, since you are the creator being and you create your reality, you can disagree with it, you can not understand it, that's all fine. It is nonetheless the case. So when you've been, going along in your life, doing what you've been doing, and let's play with the you're in this example is a being who's service to others and, likes to lean in the languaging that they use and the energy that they carry to being more happy, more uplifted, not a whiner or downer or pessimistic, or, so just kind of middle of the road. And so if you have things that have happened to you or something, those are within all of your bodies, the cellular memories, as it were, of your body. So your physical body, your emotional body, mental. Okay. So when you're in this river of love, it's actually cleansing and releasing and washing over you all of that. And it's all of that that's not of that higher vibration, highest, the vibration of love, will be released, will be expressed and expelled, will be dematerialized. And that's why I said if you're white knuckling it, then it's resistance, then it's holding on to, then it's grasping, and so you make it even harder because it's coming off of you. Nobody's pulling it off of you. It is coming out of you. Why? Because that's why you're here. Because you said, "Yay, I'm in. Let me go down there. I'm excited. This is the grandest time in all the moments of all of expansion because this is unprecedented. And Yahoo, let's do this."
Count me in.
So, okay, some people have forgotten. That's cool. But in the white knuckling, it's the resistance. In the white knuckling, it's actually the grasping onto that which is being expressed, expelled anyways. So if you can just take a deep breath, and like we started with tonight, play in the unknown. Realize that you're already playing in the unknown and go with it. Go with the flow. So this really is, going with the flow. And because out there happens after what's in here, there may be, as you're on this amazing ride, it really is an amazing ride. Now, sometimes it may not feel like that at all. I got that. But and the feeling like it's not that is what you could then point to something going on out there. And so it's a little bit of a, in your brain going, huh? Because, well, I'm in this supposed river of love and things are supposed to be hunky-dory and I'm going to the fifth dimension. Yahoo! And look at my life. I mean, out there, my car's broken down. This is happening and this is, So that's when playing and standing in love and trusting, right? And going with the flow and trusting those nudges and promptings and however you describe it, because the perceived, and you'll hear lots of different content and messaging and stuff saying right now, the perceived discomforts or the perceived chaos or the perceived, because it's perceived, because we are looking out there external to us thinking that it's the real thing. It's the genuine article. It's the real deal. It's the show. It's, again, whatever metaphor, euphemism that you use. Mm-hmm. What we're forgetting, not remembering, not cognizing, is that out there comes after what's in here. So when you have something that, because some people say miscreated. Well, you're a creator being. I don't think you miscreate anything. You may create unconsciously. Okay, but that's miscreations. Like you missed, you blew it, you screwed up. Well, yeah. Okay, I'm tired of that because for eons, people have been telling everybody that they. Okay, so perhaps you could label it as created unconsciously, or you just created something that was bang up, labeled as awful, but you wanted to experience bang up labeled as awful. So, okay, you did it because you're that good. Anyway, so you create that, and so when you look out there, shit's blowing up, people are leaving, there's no money in the bank, whatever it is. So that's all of that being expressed and expelled. That's all of that falling down, crumbling away. It's all of that imploding, to think of it, maybe it's a scene set. So everything out there around you, the 360-degree view of your life, is a scene set. So think of it as a giant incredibly detailed, multi-sensory canvas, like in a theater backdrop, although it's, it's like the front drop too, because it seems like it's real. And so when it's crumbling and blowing up and leaving and breaking and whatever it is, that's just all of what's the facade, what was the illusion, what you created within the false construct, breaking down and falling away. And as it does that, then you can step through. And I did some, on the quantum player, some short videos about, the steps of bringing this all, wrapping it up, and then where we go through them, we, kind of pull the smoke out of the air and go take people's hands, and you be, the bridge, or you walk them across to say, yeah, no, that the sun is shining, everything's fine. So it isn't, it truly isn't the dire things. That's just the old coming to an end. Yeah. So it has to fall away. How many times have you known, either in your own life or other people said they had cancer, or they lost, their house was taken away from them in foreclosure, whatever it is. And so, if one was in the story and telling the story and thinking they are the story, it was the terrible, most, you could say, oh yeah, bad shit, worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And so many of them who have let go of that then say it was the best thing that ever happened. Because it was the falling down of that they pinned their hopes on. They had it. They were white knuckling all those same, euphemisms for it. And once that was gone, it was, they had to, and no, make no mistake, it was lots of rough, teeth gnashing, heart-wrenching times. But when they walked through it, they could see that they know they never would be, and I can think of several people right now just off the top of my head that have direct experience of doing it, say, we wouldn't be here if that hadn't gone away, if that hadn't happened.
Yes.
Well, Lisa herself wouldn't be sitting in my kitchen right now.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, and the same thing for me here in what's transpired in the last, I don't know, 8 months or so for myself. Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
Most folks, when they look at what has transpired for Lisa, for me, that's what they see. Oh, that awful thing that happened to you.
Yeah.
Instead of, I'm happier in this moment of now than I've ever been in my life. And, so there's something to be, and I'm maybe not a good example of it for for specific weird reasons, but what happened with Lisa certainly is, I mean, you've shared that before, the accident that took place for you. I mean, so when we're going through those things, they might be hard to,
right,
I don't know, see the forest for the trees kind of thing, but that's what you're describing right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's what I was saying. So, and we have a direct, well, we script it, we orchestrate it, we set the stage, we bring in, the special effects and all that kind of thing, however you want to hold it that way. We do all of that. And, you had the image of people white knuckling on it. So if you want a rough, painful, torturous, treacherous, gulping water, shards of glass, beat down, keep white knuckling it. Because that's actually what you're scripting, because it's resistance to all that.
So I used to have a thing that I would say that I've kind of switched a little bit the wording of it, but I used to say that the universe would, first tap you on the shoulder, and if you paid no attention to it, it would slap you upside the back of the head. And if you still paid no attention to it, pretty soon there's a 2x4 with your name on it. But you're saying, and now I agree with you, that it's not the universe that's doing that. It's you. We set it up. And that's the thing. A lot of folks, some I'm sure do get that now. I know I do. And they might have a hard time. I would never set any of this up for myself. No, yes.
Well, that's what, so remember how we started this conversation, and I said to Lisa, that's absolutely correct from one perspective. So with Lisa, I started, that was a bigger perspective. What you just said, Sheila, that's a smaller, more constrained, more finite, the lens is a very tight aperture, and we have a narrow focus on that.
Right.
So yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, there are times, I've said a lot of times in my life, there is no effing way that, when I was in it, and even some of the very way backest ones, someone would go, no, wait a minute, I seem to remember something about, this. So, yeah. And so some of it may seem, I don't know, flipped or counterintuitive, keeps coming in. I'm not certain if that's correct, but
no, it is, because it's the word that came into my head too.
Yeah.
Telepathy is a real thing.
Yeah. And it's not outside of you. So you just said, well, the universe is doing this to see if I get the picture. No, because if the universe, well, first of all, you are the universe. So
no, I realize that. I'm just saying that that used to be my saying.
Yeah.
But now I get that.
But
no, maybe I wouldn't have set it up for myself to be the worst of the worst. But remember, I set it up so I'd get a tap first.
Right.
Then I set it up so I'd get a smack. And eventually, if I really want myself to get it, the 2x4 is coming.
Right. And we do that. So we are the universe, and we do that to ourselves. And we, the little you, does that to us, not the bigger us. In fact, the bigger us is giving us all sorts of help all the time, our absolute best friend, the absolute amazing love affair, however you want to describe the most delicious thing that comes to you. They're there absolutely all the time. If we would just, smack ourselves upside the head and trust and pay attention and tune in and stop being compelled to go with the programming and be small, we could catch even just a very scant out of the, periphery. I can just see my hand waving even though I'm looking right away, that's happening. But all of this stuff that feels like the upset or the pain or however you would describe it is all frequency vibrational energy that is in our various bodies that cannot go where we're going. So you have choices. So you can white knuckle it. Absolutely your choice. And no one will fault you for that. I certainly won't, if that's what you want. But just realize that when you choose that, you're actively putting energy behind it. And so things flow from that. And you can't take, you've heard the saying, you can't take it with you. Well, usually it's around money and, all that kind of, no. You can't take this lower dense dross, well, the money either, because the representation of the money is a false
right. It is
value. So there you go. So, but it wasn't what they purported, made out to be. So you can't take it with you.
Right.
So you can shift and in an open, expansive, learning, grokking, moving through it way with help from others, with trusting yourself. There's lots of different ways to do it. So you let the stuff go and it's flying off of you and go where you want to go. Or you can decide, I just can't do it. I don't know how to let go. I don't whatever. And I'm going to let go of this vessel and I'm gonna, and I've already made arrangements, and I've got my next one lined up, and I'm gonna go onto the river. That's it. Come back, and I'm jumping right in, because now when I come back in, I've got all of that, because I've done my work, on that transition, and I've got it clear, so now I can come in a physical vessel that's ready to do this. So there's a whole range of all those different choices. You don't have to do that one by any means, and there's work involved. It's not like it's from a linear perspective, you're looking for an easy way out. It's because you don't escape to the fifth dimension. You don't escape to a higher vibrational frequency. You don't escape to the easy land where the rat bastard bankers aren't there, and because there's no escapism, because escapism is small, it's constrained, it's limited, it's illusory.
Well,
you're the biggest.
That's what I was going to say. That's exactly
what being on the block,
So I was just getting ready to say, I'm sorry, what creator do you know that's running from any of that crap?
They're not.
Nah, they're not.
So there's lots of different people that, everybody, it's fair to say that everybody's going through different moments of contrast in various different ways, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, the whole 9 yards. And wherever their level of expansion is, whatever their level of experiences of being awake, however you would hold that. And we all move through it different ways. And we all move through it with greater or less than flows of ease, depending upon our commitment to our soul and all this that's going on, whether we fully understand it or not. You don't have to understand and know and sense everything that's going on to have that commitment. That's playing in the unknown. If you understand where you are now, and you look around and you see, maybe read a newspaper and see what it is, or see different things, you realize that, whoa, isn't there a metaphor that starts with an S and ends with an E? It's 2 words, that this whole construct is turned into. So yeah. And this is the river of love, and anything that isn't love can't go. Well, you bet, I'm on that river. I don't know how to swim. I haven't used a boat. I don't know about white water rafting, but I'm in there, So you don't have to understand it all. There are some people that you could look at and say, technically they're not awake, they're not spiritual, not this, but they have their service to others. They have the predominant frequency of vibration. They're just going along. They're just moving through the flow. They're always wanting to be as expansive as they can. However, they would label it different ways, right? Sure. You don't have to have read the right book, watch the right video, listen to the right channeling. None of that. It doesn't work that way. Because we're not missing anything. No. And it's not happening in a vacuum. So in this river of love, there are some things, but each moment, and again, it goes back to label, that we could label something as bad or painful or chaotic or whatever. What if you played with, and this just came to mind, the kids' game I Spy.
Yes.
So, okay. So instead of, saying, oh my God, no, look at that Eddy, oh no, wait, it's a big boulder, right? Instead you say, I spy a big Eddy, because as you go around that, and because now you're not white knuckling, you're kind of, and excited and slightly terrified, and, oh, this was a really good idea, I could do this, around that Eddy, you go, I spy an Eddy, because that's letting deep down all sorts of stuff come off you. And for a moment there is, a big ouch or uncomfortable or cast, whatever it is, but But when you come around, what is it's kind of jet propulsion or astrophysics, where you come around the big planetary body at a certain trajectory, and you can slingshot your momentum off of it. So if you're spying those eddies and the boulders and the this and the that, well, I'm going to come around and I'm going to let stuff with the centrifugal force of that love, let that stuff flow off of me, and I'm going to whip around and I'm going to just rock it, a couple more miles upstream. Well, now you're playing and you're having a game, and yeah, it's a little, whoa, okay, this is a wild one right here. But now because you now are choosing how you play with it, so you're choosing a different course.
Yeah.
And you're going to the expansion, and you're letting go of all that stuff.
And you're going with what is taking place.
Yeah. Because you're making it take place, and you're taking you there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very well aware that the feeling, when folks feel into what you both just said, that's a whole different way. That's a whole different frequency vibration to seeing that eddy, so to speak, and say, hey, I recognize what this is. And, holding it in a different way. That's one way. But that is a whole different frequency vibration than, oh my God, I'm going to hit that rock. Oh God, what am I going to do? That.
Yes.
Oh, this just came in. The doctors used to say that fools and children don't get hurt in accidents. And part of the reason that is because they don't tense up.
I heard it.
Fools,
drunks and children.
Fools, drunks, and children. Yeah, because they don't tense up.
No.
And so, so that's that. I mean, for that's what reminded me of that, because if you hold it in that different manner, then that's a whole different. Are you playing with Rose?
Well, Rose threw her mouse toy down and bonked my other house friend here on the head, and so he was like, "What?" And he was going to start eating. It's not a real mouse. And he was eating the mouse, and so she's up there going, "Throw back, throw back." And I'm thinking, well, I'm on camera, but okay. So anyway. little mouse play here.
On Rose's behalf, thank you.
One of the things that came to mind in a visual when you were talking about that, Sheila, is that, again, you could say the irony or the beautiful thing is that when you I spy, those various things, and because now you don't have the resistance, now you're not, kind of a thing, you're lighter, you're more buoyant, you have more flexibility in your ability to ski, using all different water metaphors, right? Mm-hmm. And so you then actually rise up on a hot, if the rock is here and the eddies, the currents are going around, there's also one on the outest edge that's higher, further away from the rock. So when you do that, you can actually skirt on that, and there's very little turbulence there. There's very little of whatever that labeled thing is, and you can go. So again, that's the trusting, and it's really trusting in oneself, which I get is for a lot of people in a lot of instances is excruciatingly difficult to do, because we have been absolutely positively not only trained, brainwashed, beaten into, however you want to hold it, to do the exact opposite of that.
No, exactly.
And it's still, the thing that we just have to build that muscle to do it.
Well, yeah, I was going to say it's definitely the muscle building portion, that because even knowing, okay, for myself, knowing, I mean, just absolutely knowing it to be a true thing, bar none, that we've all been conditioned, programmed, our upbringing, all of these things have gone into, how we view things. And every one of us is, of course, a little bit different, but that's all there. And for me, just starting to recognize it is one thing, yes. But then also, in that recognition, then is she playing with you now? Now
Yes.
now it's a game. Now it's a game.
It's a game.
But the recognition of it is only the first step, because then even in the recognition of it, for me anyway, what I have found, I recognize it, I know what it is, I see it, but then there's also that habit. That's because that's the next step with conditioning, is that it's also habit, because it's been there all that time.
Yeah, ingrained, there's a groove. Yep.
Right. Yeah. So just even the recognizing that, noticing that you speak of so much, recognizing that groove, recognizing that habit, and even when you know what it is, it's not always easy, but it does get easier with time, because then it becomes a habit to be looking at that or looking out for that and letting go of it when you see it or whatever. For me anyway, it has been.
Well, yeah, and I'll actually expand on that, because it's not a matter of time, and it absolutely does get easier, but it doesn't have to take but a breath of time to do it. Because it's a different energetic frequency. So it's more of, that's why the noticing is such a helpful thing, because you remember we've talked about kind of those swimming lanes, or however you want to phrase it, of the energy frequencies. And if you're over here, and I'm on the side of the coping and I'm holding on, and please don't let me hit that. I gotta get to another, or I could go, this changes me a little. So in each moment, that's why the only moment is right this moment. So in each moment, we can switch our lanes. We can switch those energetic frequency lanes and change them. So we don't have to slog through working to do it. But we do need to notice where it is. So there was one video, one night we were doing a couple of videos, and Smari was dancing the rumba and the tango and the, branchettes and all that kind of stuff. And no, the first one, he wasn't there at all. The second one was there. And you said, well, how? And the third one, was just a little bit. And you said, well, how can he come back? I said, because you weren't vigilant. Because you weren't feeling, because it's a different feeling within you when he comes in. And so the third video, right, he came to dance, and you, on camera, as you're watching, you kind of turn, saw it play for just a moment with it, and then, almost like a dance partner on the floor, spin him off, so that instead of cutting in, you kind of let him spin out to go dance with somebody else. And that was because you noticed. So again, we're at the cause, and we're at the direction of everything. So we generate all of this. Now, the thing that seems difficult is that it sometimes doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like we're under the thumb, and they're doing it to me, and they won't let me, but you don't understand. And this, same as we started the video and halfway through, is, from one perspective, it's absolutely true. But in order to get where you want to go, and if all you want is to just be left alone and have it better than where you are now, it's still in the same direction, because it's, more closer to of all being love, is that you've got to take that step. And whatever you can do to remind yourself, and this is where the saying of fake it till you make it, although I always hated that one, but whatever along that comes to line, is that you are not some small, weak, frail, worthless, diminutive, put upon, whatever it is. You're not. You simply are not. Couldn't be further from the truth. And your proof everywhere of that is that you're here at this moment now with all of this happening. I mean, there are so many things that just happen to be happening all at the same time that are so unprecedented. And you're going to tell me they're all coincidences at this moment in time? They all just decided to happen because, I don't know, the universe is having a bad day? So play in the unknown, think outside of the box, and trust. Because we're in the river, and we're cruising along, and we choose how the ride is.
That sounds wonderful. Yes.
Well, I personally am excited for the next Eddy, because I got to tell you, as you were speaking that, there's been a video that I've seen recently. Someone put out, and I don't even remember the name of it or anything, but it depicted a motorcycle person who's driving a motorcycle, and he's leaning over so far that he's almost touching the ground. And when you were saying that about the Eddy, I thought, yeah, how cool the next time you see an Eddy with a rock in the middle of it, to be on that outside and just run your finger around the side of it as you're shooting your trajectory around the other side. And see, that's a whole other energetic for me.
Yeah. It's more like trick riding, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, so, okay, watch me maneuver around this one.
But you're mastering the flow. I mean, that's when you're coming into your mastery, and that's where you're let go of you being the story or the story being you. That's where you let go of the identifying with all of those smaller focus energetic points, and you realize that none of that, I mean, all those are all experiences to have, whether you think you chose them or not, they're all to have, but that is not what it is. And so now people talk about these sentimental, well, everyone who's on this planet is a master, and some, are waking up to it, and some haven't got a friggin' clue, but it's standing room only to get here at this moment with everybody well trained to bring this all, because this is for all. Capital A, capital L, underline, and, flashing. And it's huge. So, yeah, that's part of that mastery. And, you talked about earlier when we weren't on camera, I think, Sheila, well, I'm thinking I want to do more, should do more about, mission and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's part of it, is you look at those things, and in doing that, you set up all sorts of other amazing things to happen, and people that you're crossing in the river to come with you. So just in that, you've done something for yourself, which is transmitting it out to others. You're bringing others along because they're in the river too, in various closeness and proximity and other things can see that. And it also, in that, it's a way to, remember I said it kind of jumps you down the river, right? It also now is re-ingraining, if that's such a word, the innate mastery that you have. It's re-grooving it, right? Remembering it, as Lisa says, where it's reattaching it and flicking that light switch on. And so now that's the dot or the puzzle piece, however you want to hold it, to get you to that next step where you can take all that on, because that was the piece that you still weren't fully in.
Right.
And have you noticed that for the most part in the last I think we're on 3.5 weeks now, if I'm marking it right, because I don't play in time anymore, but that smarmy for the most part isn't even in the city.
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
So, I mean, all that flows together.
Yeah.
And it is a wild ride. And, you know, the rest of us, so each of us, the rest of us, when we're sleeping and we're playing, hanging out, working, busting our ass, all of those things and more, we absolutely, completely know what an amazing job we're all doing, even if some of us think that we have no idea what the hell we're doing. And we're all doing an amazing job, because look around. That happens after this. And so another way to phrase it is, out there is what's come before the next amazing thing flowers. So, you know, you got to rip out all the weeds and all that comes down. Mm-hmm. And so this is the place and the time and the moment to be unfolding all this. And we are unfolding it. There's no outside out there. Each one of us is unfolding it. For all. Because we're part of the all. This is where that, you know, all and the singularity and the sovereign comes, that's where they meet. So down here is orchestrating up there, and all of us is helping orchestrate down here, because we're all coming into each other.
Right.
Or just go with the flow in the river of love. That's a little easier.
I get it. Works for me.
Well, it's another conversation, but you did bring it up. So, and maybe I shouldn't say anything about, no, I'm not, I'm just going to, I'm ready for whatever it is we're doing in our sleep to slow down. As I've been waking up with sore ribs and all kinds of stuff.
So exhausted.
How long is infinity?
Well, okay, so it just needs to take a break. That's all.
Yeah, you can. We can play with that too. There are ways to do that.
Okay, good. Let's play with taking a break, because in the last couple, I mean, I don't know what it is that I'm getting up to at night. Okay. Because I'm not remembering my dreams, but yeah, there's been a lot of that going on. I mean, I know there's a lot of activity, so. Well, I don't have anything else to add. How about either one of you, actually? No, everybody's good. So we're going to close this energetic envelope here.
Lisa and I are weeing around the rocks.
Yeah, they do that to me often, y'all. No worries. I'll catch up. I'm there.
You there. You're there.
I know I'm there. I may not know it in this moment now, but I know I'm there.
You did there, but except for you just jumped right up over the rock and skipped the weeing altogether.
I was going to say yes, because I've been throwing my hand up.
A smaller one, and you said it to catapult you over. Okay, you had a little pinwheeling going on, but that's right.
Good thing I'm not worried about drowning.
No.
Even though I can stay afloat. I cannot actually swim, but I can stay afloat. So there's that.
You're golden.
And I'm good with that.
She's watching for the eddies. She's good.
I'm doing them trick shots around the corner. Ladies, this has been absolutely a blast. I've missed our conversations. I know that
Me
we
too.
have not had as many lately as I would, like for us to do going forward. And I know all of that has been really, well, most of it has been due to my feeling very tripped out. So thank you for everyone for your patience in this moment of now.
It was a fun nudge yelling at the car at the car today, so it was good.
Well, that's
Text
cool.
them now. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I actually, and see, this to me, okay, so you may not realize it, but you were acting on a prompting from me.
Okay.
Yes. And see, that's for me, I've started telling Lisa when I'm prompting people. Because just for my own, hey, I'm playing with this, so I'm going to play with it out loud. Even I say, just want you to know, I started already,
and
I'm loving it.
And you're so intent on not getting a text back that you didn't get my text back.
I know, right? Now I'm telling you that took some creation to do. Just to share with everyone, there was a we were all in a text group, Lisa, BZ, and I. BZ sent a text. Lisa said, BC texted. I said, oh, really? I didn't get a text. I'm looking, there's no text. And Lisa said, no, you got the text. I said, no, I didn't. She said, it's in a group. Here, look at it. It never came through. Your first text to the both of us never actually came through. So yeah, how does that work?
Well, did you get the quantum text that I sent prior to the actual texting?
Well, I'm sure that I did, but I don't recall it in this moment of now cognizantly that I can share.
Right. And the follow-up was, can you hear me now?
Well, now, see, I got the can you hear me now part, but not the quantum part. However, see, now that leads me, you did get a prompting then. Were you aware you got a prompting from me?
Oh yeah. Well, there was a chorus of prompting simultaneous. It was a simultaneous chorus of promptings. And I was driving the car, so I didn't text. And I said, okay, so I sent back my whole conversations in a quantum way of texting. And then I finished by pulling over and physically texting.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, okay, so maybe I do know, because I did feel like I got through. So maybe there is, again, there's that just noticing and trying to make sure, because there is still that trust thing. Although I'm getting really good at trusting what I get and giving it when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I might be crazy, but I'm going to say this, just, and I'm going to stop qualifying it like that too, by the way. Because,
that'd be good.
Yeah. Well, that
anytime that would be
good. Yeah, let's stop qualifying myself as crazy. Because I'm not. Actually quite sane.
Crazy like a fox.
Yeah, there you go. So all the usual things in all the usual places. In other words, all the links to Lisa and BZ's blogs will be in the body of this video, along with information as to how to join the Friends of Conscious Conversation Central Facebook page and how to get in touch with me if you'd like. And until next time, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Much love.